Hello everyone, this is Camilla of the Alexandrite system. Dealing with trauma isn't an easy thing. I know that's not a groundbreaking statement, but sometimes it's something that needs to be said. I think that societally and personally after trauma, we sort of assume that we can still carry on in the exact same way that we did, when oftentimes that's not true. So today I wanted to tell you a story about dealing with trauma. But I want to tell you it through a new special interest of mine, Dwarf Fortress. Trigger warning up front for death, violence, and blood. Slaves to Armok, God of Blood, Chapter 2, Dwarf Fortress is a 2006 and ongoing game by Tarn Adams and Zach Adams. The game is best described as a fantasy world simulator. When you boot up the game for the first time, you create a world, and then the game runs through the history of that world for as long as you want. All of this is procedurally generated, so no two worlds and no two histories are going to be exactly the same. And frankly, how could they, with the pages upon pages of history that you can scroll through and learn about for your world? The game is mostly known for two things: creating amazing and strange stories, and its user-unfriendly interface. You see, by default, Dwarf Fortress looks like this. The game uses ASCII graphics because it means that you don't have to animate anything. So you can have these strangely detailed combat reports where you have things like someone being grabbed by their first finger with someone's right upper arm. I guess that works. To make this story as clear to you as possible, I've installed a graphics pack. I'm sure to a lot of you it will still mostly look like gibberish, but I think it's a lot easier if you haven't gone full Matrix yet.
You get used to it. I don't even see the code. All I see is blonde, brunette, redhead.
In the main mode of the game, you oversee a fortress of dwarves, hence the name. These dwarves go about their lives while building up an industry and digging deeply and greedily, sometimes to disastrous results. The game is also notoriously hard. There is a slogan amongst the fandom: losing is fun. And it's true, oftentimes the most exciting parts of the game are when things are going wrong. This is my current fortress, Mint Bridge. The names are also procedurally generated. They're often two words mashed together. Of course, it sounds much better in the original Dwarven, Gitnuxazir. Recently, while digging, we broke into an underground cavern. While these things often have a plethora of plants and other resources that can be incredibly useful, they also tend to house monsters. So oftentimes I don't even mess around with them, I just wall them off. However, this time I didn't wall them off properly. Because I left a small hole open where things could get in, we had a recent attack of Crundles. Crundles are... God, what are Crundles? Well, let's check the description. A tiny underground monster with large claws and horns. It walks on two legs and is dangerous when encountered in large numbers. Okay, I guess they're some sort of lizard gremlin thing. Alright, that's fine. Honestly, even in large numbers, a Crundle is probably the best thing I could have asked for to break in from the caverns. The fortress probably wouldn't be standing if it were something like a giant cave spider, or a troll, or, God forbid, a forgotten beast. Unfortunately, he did attack and kill one of my dwarves, but we buried him, patched up the hole, and moved on with our lives. Easy, right? It turns out not so much. Sandra and Glow used to play a lot of this game back in 2013, 2014, and apparently since then, they have added post-traumatic stress. You see, dwarves have memories. Their recent memories affect their mood, and then after a certain amount of time, some of their more important recent memories are moved to their long-term memories, so dwarves can have character arcs, essentially. And they can have all sorts of reactions to this sort of trauma, from anger to sadness. Some even feel nothing. As we were going on in the next few in-game months, I kept getting notifications that would say, this dwarf has stopped this action due to being horrified. And so I would go over to where they were, and I would look around to see if there was any threat, because oftentimes when something gets interrupted, it's because they saw something or something happened. And I would look around in the area, and nothing would be there. So I just figured maybe something was there and it left. It happens sometimes. A big bird swoops down and scares a dwarf. It's normal. But after a few of these notifications, I decided to go into their thoughts and memories and see if I could find a clue from there. And it turns out that these dwarves were horrified from reliving the memory of seeing that one dwarf die. My dwarfs were having flashbacks. And as the in-game weeks went on, it became increasingly obvious that they could not work. So I decided to do the sensible thing and give them time to recover. I took them off of all active work, their weaponsmithing, their farming, their stone crafting, and just let them have time to relax. And it calmed them down. They spent time socializing with friends, playing with pets, and just generally enjoying the comfort of their home. So when I put them back to work a couple of months later, they weren't perfect, but they were having flashbacks far less often. And as I was sitting there watching these dwarfs recover and slowly get back to their lives, I thought about how we treat ourselves. I find that too often we pressure ourselves to immediately get over something, no matter what that thing is, when it's often not that simple. So this story is a reminder to be gentle to yourself. Try to relax on what obligations you can. Lean on the support figures in your life. Friends, family, pets. Your other system members can help pick up the slack as well and give you support. One of the nice things about being a system is that you can ask the others for help. Either help with managing things on the outside or just internal support. It's okay to take as long as you need. Be gentle with yourselves. Recovery is not a race. Thank you for watching, everyone. Now, if you will excuse me, a werefox broke into my fortress and bit a bunch of dwarfs, so I have a feeling I'm about to have a lot of fun. I'll see you next time. Be well.